If a picture paints 1,000 words, then a prototype is worth 1,000 pictures. In designing products for everyday life, nothing beats prototyping. This allows you to communicate fast and work directly with your ideas as your design evolves, in a way no text or image possibly can. Arduino boards are extremely great for building prototypes. There are a number of development boards available to work with, depending on your target product's feature, size, and usage. But amongst all of these, the Arduino Uno is perhaps the most popular, and it's such a great tool to jumpstart your skills in Arduino and product prototyping. For this demonstration, I'm going to use some of the basic components that you can purchase at your local electronics store. The Uno board, breadboard, LEDs, 220 ohm and 10 kilo ohm resistors, switch, light dependent resistor, servo motor, and a couple of connecting wires. Let's start with the board. Arduino Uno consists of an Atmel microcontroller that serves as the brain of this entire board. This is where your compiled program resides. You can write and upload code from your computer, and this is done via this Type B USB port, similar to most printer ports. When uploading, you don't need to use a separate power supply. The 5-volt power source from your computer's USB port is enough. A separate power port is also provided if you want to run it as a standalone device. The external world will communicate to this microcontroller via these input and output pins in either analog or digital. A set of power pins to power your electronic components like LEDs, motors, sensors, etc. when testing it in breadboard. And finally, a reset switch that allows you to restart the operation of the device once pressed. If you haven't worked with breadboards before, breadboard is simply a bread and butter for DIY electronics. It allows you to connect your electronic components for a temporary prototype, instead of you just holding all LEDs and switches or hang it in midair. Some of these tiny holes are connected internally and some are not. When facing you in this orientation, these vertical holes in the middle are internally connected, while these horizontal holes are not. However, the outer horizontal holes are internally connected, while the vertical holes are not. Let's start creating a very simple connection. For our first demo, this involves an LED, a 220 ohm resistor, then we're going to write a simple program to control it. I'll start off with this LED and connecting it to the breadboard. The longer pin denotes the positive terminal and the shorter one is the negative. I'll connect a 220 ohm resistor in series with the LED. It doesn't matter whether before or after the LED. Resistor has no polarity, meaning no positive and negative, and you can reverse its orientation. I'll use a jumper wire to connect this resistor in series to the one of the digital I/O pins of the Arduino. In this case, I'll use pin 13. And finally, the negative pin of your LED must be connected to the ground of the board to complete the circuit. To write a program, we need to download the Arduino IDE or Integrated Development Environment, and it's free to download at arduino.cc, and it's available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Once downloaded, installation is fairly straightforward, and we can now launch it. When you launch the Arduino IDE, you will see two blocks of code by default, the void setup and the void loop. You will see a comment inside, which you can delete it if you want. Comments and code as denoted by this double forward slash will be ignored during runtime. The code that you will write here in this void setup will be executed first, and it will only happen once, while the code that you'll place inside this void loop will run repeatedly for as long as the board is turned on. Aside from these two, you can create additional code blocks which are called functions, but this is beyond the scope of our demo. So let's put in some codes. When accessing your digital input and output pins, you must first set it in the setup function. I'll call one of the built-in functions pin mode to set the pin's behavior by typing pin mode 13. This is where the LED is connected to, then output. Then end it with a semicolon, meaning I'll use pin 13 as an output pin. Arduino is bit programmable. We can configure each pin to behave as either input or output depending on what we want. If you have a programming background like C or Java, you can easily adjust to the coding scheme used in Arduino. Then, inside the void loop, since I want this code to run repeatedly, I'll call another built-in function, digital write, by typing digital write 13, high, meaning Arduino will send 5 volts to turn on the LED attached to pin 13. Then, Wait for about 1 second by calling the delay function and pass in a time delay in milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. After seeing the LED turned on for 1 second, let's turn it off. Again, by calling the function digital write 13, low, meaning Arduino will give 0 volt to pin 13, thus turning the LED off. Finally, I need to put another 1000 millisecond delay before looping back to the start of this code block and start turning on the LED again, repeating the entire process. To upload this code to the Arduino board, you need to plug in this USB connector to the Arduino and your computer's USB port. Once detected by your computer, please navigate to your device manager by right-clicking the Windows Start button and selecting Device Manager. Please check on ports to verify the communication port number used by your device. Mine is COM3 and it might be different from your computer. In Arduino's IDE, click on Tools and make sure that the board Arduino/Genuino Uno is selected because you have dozens of boards to choose from. And also, make sure that the port selected here matches the port number of your Arduino displayed in your device manager. And that's it. The last thing you need to do is click this upload button, save the sketch file, and wait until you see the message done uploading. Now, you can see your first Arduino program, a blinking LED with an interval of 1 second. Notice that if I push this reset switch, the program restarts. And if you want to modify the existing program, just go back to your IDE. In this example, I'll change the delay to 300 milliseconds. I'll click the upload button again, and once done uploading, you'll see the changes in the board right away. The LED blinks at an interval of 300 milliseconds. For our second example, I'm going to modify both the circuit and the program to demonstrate the concept of digital input using a switch. I'll use a tactile switch and place it in the middle of the breadboard. Following the circuit shown, I'll connect one pin of the switch to the 5V supply in series, and the other pin to the digital pin 2 of the board, which I'll configure later in code as digital input. Finally, I need to place a 10 kilo ohm resistor parallel to the switch and pin 2 of the board and connect it to the ground. This is what we call pull-down resistor. What it does is it pulls the input pin 2 to the ground during the times when the switch is not pushed, and it will be read as 0 volt or low. But when pushed, 5 volts will be received and it will be read as high. Let's check it in code. I'll set pin 2 as input, then I'll create a condition using an if statement, and check using the digital read function if the value received in pin 2 is high or 5 volts, meaning the switch is pushed. And if so, I'll enclose this block of codes that makes the LED blinks. Otherwise, if the input is low or 0 volt, meaning the switch is not pushed, I'll turn off the LED. I'll click upload again and verify the result on the board. When I push the switch, the LED blinks. Test it one more time, and it works perfectly. For our third example, I'll demonstrate the concept of analog input signals. When you design something, you might want that your device will respond to signals other than a switch. Most sensors produce analog signals such as temperature, pressure, vibration, sound, light, and so on. To capture these signals and respond to it accordingly, you can use the Arduino's analog input pins. In our previous circuit connection, I'll modify the input and use a light-dependent resistor or LDR in place of a switch. Then, instead of receiving it in digital signal, I'm going to connect it via the analog input pin A0. Now, I'll modify the code and use the function analog read. To illustrate this concept, I'll start the serial monitor of Arduino to continuously monitor the signal being received at pin A0 and print it in the serial monitor window. Why am I doing this? Arduino has built-in analog to digital conversion, or ADC, of 10-bit resolution. This allows you to work with analog signals as voltage 0 to 5 to read it as numbers ranging from 0 to 1023. Let me modify this condition first. And I'll just use some random number. Let's say 400. It has to be between 0 to 1023. You'll see this later when we run the program. Now, let's upload the code and I'll show you the serial monitor and the circuit side by side. As I place my hand over the sensor and block the light, you can see the converted value being printed in the serial monitor drops from 500 plus to 100 plus. This is equated to the light intensity in my room, 1023 being the brightest and 0 as total darkness. Thus, in my condition, if it reads less than 400, meaning I block the sensor, then the LED blinks. For our last example, you might want to control something that moves instead of just blinking LED. I'll replace the LED by a servo motor to see some motion when we activate the sensor. Servo motor has 3 pins, positive 5, ground, and the PWM or pulse width modulation pin. In relation to this, some digital I/O pins of the Arduino can be used for this task to control devices like servo motors that respond to PWM. These pins are 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11. I'll use pin 9. Now, all I need to do is to connect the positive 5V and the ground of the servo motor to the board's power pins. In my code, I'll include the servo motor library and declare a variable myServo of type servo. I'll also declare another variable that will hold the current position of my servo motor. In this case, it will range from 0 to 180 degrees. In my void setup, I'll tell the myServo variable that the servo motor is attached to pin 9. Then, inside the if condition, I'll use a for loop to tell my servo to rotate from 0 degree to 180 degrees at an interval of 1 degree per step, and the delay for each step is 15 milliseconds. I'll use the same code, but this time, I'll start the position from 180 degrees down to 0 degree at 1 degree per step. Now, let's upload the program. And as you can see, once I block the sensor, the servo motor sweeps from 0 degree to 180 degrees and 180 degrees to 0 degree continuously.